This year, you can literally fix your marriage in 4 moves. I know, I understand. You think I'm crazy. You think I'm tripping. You have been talking about divorce, and I don't think this is going to work, and we're not going to make it. Can I tell you that 70% of the people who get divorced regret it? 70% of people who get divorces regret it because when they look in the rearview mirror, they realize that there were moments that they let get away. There were things that they let go too far. There were things that they didn't know they could have fixed, but they discovered later that they could have. And oftentimes we are so in our feelings, come on, help me talk right now, that we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We make rash decisions. We decide, I'm just not doing this anymore, and then we lose what really could have been a great marriage. And I want to talk to you about not throwing out that relationship. I want to show you how you can fix your marriage in 4 moves this year, how you can break through places where you were stuck, how you can repair the injuries that happen, how you can change the environment around your marriage, and you can do it in 4 moves. And so let's talk about why you need to stop all of this conversation about ending your marriage. You fell in love. You wanted the other person. You saw something great in the other person. Now, before we get too far, time out. All right, time out. I am not unrealistic. I'm a hope dealer. If you've ever watched any of my videos, I am a hope dealer. I believe that anything is possible with God. You don't have to know him. You don't have to be interested in him. I'm just telling you, anything is possible. But I am not unrealistic to think that every marriage can survive. I understand that some marriages, it's just not going to work. But I know that more marriages would work if people would do these 4 things that I'm going to share with you this year, right? And begin today. All right, so here's the first thing. You got to examine yourself. Okay, don't turn the video off now. We're talking about you. Yes, you. I know you've been offended. I know you've been hurt. I know that you have somebody who is less than perfect, far less than perfect, potentially done some pretty egregious things. Now, we're not talking about abusive things. Let's get this really clear. Like, I've been doing this for a long time as a marriage coach, as somebody working with couples in professional sports and in business. I've been doing this for a long time. I would never suggest that you need to endure any kind of emotional, physical, verbal abuse. I'm talking about there are times when we don't examine ourselves. We look at the other person like we look at the twig or the little stick in somebody else's eye, and we don't look at the log that's in our own. So if you're one of those people who can see very clearly what the other person has done, but can't see what you have done, what you have contributed, in almost every case, I have discovered that we all make contributions. Both parties, both partners in the marriage make contributions to the condition of the marriage. Not always intentionally, not always with negative intentions. You don't intend to hurt one another. Sometimes we hurt each other. We don't even know it, but you don't know it. When's the last time you just sat down and said, let me think about what my spouse has been complaining about me? Because, we get really defensive, don't we? We get very defensive when people point out things, shortcomings, and so forth about us. I'm not saying you need to go into the tank and own a lot of stuff that's not yours to own. But if there's 1 thing or 2 things that you can own, you'd be amazing how the temperature in the room can change just by saying to the other person, you know what? You've been telling me this for years, and you're right. You're right. I've been resisting it. I've been acting like I didn't do it or like it wasn't a big deal. I stopped considering what it was like for you when I would do what I do. We're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. Are you ready for this ride? Here's the first point. Say it with me. Say it with me. Examine yourself. My wife used to say, who's guarding the guard? We would get into arguments and she would get mad with me or I'd be angry with her. And she would say, okay, Mr. Marriage Coach, coach yourself now. Because do you see what you've been doing? to add to this, ooh, I would get fire hot, fire hot. And then I knew she was right. I had to start looking at myself. I had to begin to examine myself. Listen, self-examination is the gateway to self-awareness. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But self-examination is the key. It's the gateway to self-awareness. Most people lack self-awareness. You might be the rare person who just came out the chute, who came into this world with self-awareness, but most of us lack self-awareness. Self-awareness is the quintessential trait of emotional maturity. And let me peep you in. Come on in the room. Come in the room. Let me tell you, you were not born with emotional maturity. And you might be a wonderful person, a great person, a smart person, brilliant with degrees and all of those things. You probably have made lots of money and done really well for yourself, and people celebrate you, but self-awareness is not natural. It is learned. And if you and I can't examine ourselves, we'll never grow in self-awareness. You say, well, Rod, what is self-awareness? What does it mean to be self-aware? Here it is. You ready? To be self-aware is to understand how other people experience you. What happens in your spouse's world when they experience you? What happens in your world when they experience you? The truth is, you want your spouse to be self-aware. You want your spouse to be able to examine himself or herself. You want your spouse to see the things that you see happening that affect you, and your spouse wants the same thing. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. If you can examine yourself and grow in self-awareness, the sky will be the limit for your marriage. You do not have to throw away that marriage. Come on off that ledge. Stop talking like that. You don't have to throw away your marriage. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not suggesting that there's not great work that your spouse has to do or that you have to do. I'm simply saying that it is possible. And we begin this with self-examination. Remember, self-examination is the pathway to self-awareness. And when you're self-aware, by the way, when you are open to self-examination, you start letting go of old offenses because you start to see them through a little bit different lens. Like, oh, it wasn't all him or it wasn't all her. Like, oh, I see now how when I showed up this way, when I showed up my normal self, how I always flow, how I always roll, how I always do, they were having an experience too. And then you realize I got to let go of some old offenses. If you can grab this first principle today, it'll change the game. Examine you. Examine you. I'm going to examine me. That's what I'm going to do more of in 26. I'm going to examine me more. How do people experience you? How does your spouse experience you? How do your children, if you have children, experience you? All right, I'll tell you this story and I'll move on to the next principle. When I was young in my parentage, my wife would say to me, she would say, you don't realize how the children experience you when you come home. You know, I would come home heavy with my attitude, and I'm going to get everything right in the house. And why aren't y'all doing this? Why have you done that? And she goes, you come in so heavy, and it's a lot for the kids. And I had to examine myself. I had to pull back. I had to choose to enter the room, enter the house. I had to drive up the driveway differently so that they could experience me differently. But that began with self-examination. Get some real help. Get some real help. Examine yourself first. Get some real help. Get real help. Like, none of this fake help. None of this self-help. It's hard to help yourself when you can't see yourself. Like, none of us can fully see ourselves. None of us fully knows how the other person experiences us. I'm amazed at the numbers of couples who do the following: fall in love, plan a wedding, or elope, or whatever you do. Right? Fall in love, plan a wedding, save for a wedding, invest in a wedding. Isn't that amazing? Buy a home, buy cars, begin to invest in their future, and have never invested money in the well-being of marriage, their marriage. Like, you've never taken a course on marriage? Isn't it amazing? Like, people try this thing 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a lifetime, some people. They like marriage. They want to be with somebody. They want this marriage relationship, but don't like get real help. Like, why do I keep doing this? Like, why do I keep getting married again and again and again? You think some people would ask that question without getting help. You think that in a society where there's such brilliance and creativity, and we are in America for years have been the wealthiest country in the world. You would think people would invest in getting help in their marriages. Now, to be fair, more people are starting to get help. They're going to retreats and they're going to their pastors and they're going to, they're reading books and they're trying to work on their marriages. Here's what I'm saying. If you're going to get better this upcoming year, this new year, this 2026, you've got to get serious about getting some real help. Now, all help is not created equal. I got to say that. I've been in this work for a long time, and there are some brilliant people, far more knowledgeable than me. So I'm not suggesting that like somehow I'm the answer. I'm not. I'm a part of the solution. I'm grateful to be a marriage coach to people who are very successful in the lives that they've built, the careers that they've built, oftentimes the resources that they've acquired, but are not succeeding in their marriages and their family lives. I help successful people succeed in marriage and build great families. That's what I do. And the people I work with have discovered that they would not be better if they had not chosen to invest in getting help. They had not chosen to get help. Here's all I'm saying. You have to want to get better. You have to choose to get better. If it's $100 a month, get the help. If it's $500 a month, get the help. If it costs you $20,000 to get the help, get the help. What are you talking about, Rod? You cannot expect the most precious and amazing and foundational relationship in your life to flourish without investing something in it. You pay for a car note every month, perhaps. You pay a house note every month. You pay for college tuitions for kids, perhaps. You're investing for retirement. You pay for insurance. And when your marriage is struggling, maybe it's not you, but so many people, when their marriages have struggled, what they say is, where can I get counseling for $120 an hour, or $150 or $200 an hour? And I'm like, are you kidding? Would you let some guy who has, I don't know, no background in working on your exotic car, would you just hand it over to that person? I mean, really, would you entrust somebody who just came out of mechanic school to work on your Lamborghini or your Porsche or whatever it is? No, you want someone who is qualified and proven. And what I'm suggesting to you is that you get real help, proven help, so that you can win. Now, let me invite you to something that I think can really help you this year. It is the Intimacy Reset Challenge for couples. This challenge is for couples who really want to rebuild trust. They want to be intimate. They want to feel close again. They want to stop feeling like they're roommates. They want to stop feeling like they're living this double life, like they look great to everybody on the outside, but at home, things are falling to pieces. Listen, you don't have to give up on your marriage because it's real help. And for literally $297 for this challenge, you could turn your marriage around in just a handful of nights, a handful of hours, 5 hours. Now, if you choose, you can buy a ticket for our VIP time. That's an additional hour for couples who really want to go in on some focused issues, and I will coach you live. I do this challenge live. This is not like some recorded thing. And couples come away saying, "Oh my goodness, I did not know. I didn't understand what my spouse was saying. Oh, we feel so much more hopeful about our marriage." And couples begin to tell me in a week's time that we're in it to win it. They get a whole new lease on their marriages. And I want to commend that to you. So it's the Intimacy Reset Challenge for couples. Just click on the link. You can register and you can literally take your marriage to otherworldly levels in 2026. Let's get you some real help so that you can have the marriage you have always dreamed of. All right, can I give you one or two others? I think I said 4 moves here. Let's end the conversation about divorce. When Sherry and I got married almost 35 years ago now, when we got married, we made a very clear decision. We do not use the D word in our home. We just don't. There's no discussion. There's no we should do it. I don't, because we've had some rough times like everybody else. Like we were not immune. We're not immune to having difficult times when our conversation is breaking down, when we didn't feel close to one another, when we have wounded one another with our words. Like we're not superhuman. We've gone through the same things. When I didn't keep my word and her trust in me suffered. When I didn't believe in her motives toward me. I'm just telling you, we've been through all of those same things. And there were a couple of years in there when we were both like, you know what? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not sure. I know some of y'all like, really? Yeah, like, yeah, really. We're not sure. And we have 4 kids. They're amazing, by the way. 4 adult children. They're amazing. I'm so glad we stuck it out. And one of the ways we made it through those dry moments, those tough moments, those moments when we didn't understand one another, couldn't see one another, when I was emotionally immature, we never used the divorce word. I think you should take that word out of your vocabulary. If you're going to turn things around, you have to change your conversation because life and death, says the Bible, are in the power of the tongue. You know, it's amazing the things that we profess, that we say, that we declared. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It just begins to happen. We just say it so much that our brains begin to think this is the only way to go. So how about if you start a new conversation? We can fix this. We can get through this. We don't have to tear each other down. We don't have to throw this marriage away. We don't have to do that. Okay, here's the last thing I want you to do. I want you to do some research. Do some research. You're like, what's that got to do with saving my marriage? You need to do some research on the cost of divorce. Do the research. I was talking with a client just a few days ago, and I said, hey, I've got a question for you. I've been asking all of my private clients this question, clients current, clients former. Hey, do you trust me? Talk about a vulnerable question to ask people. Do you trust me? And this particular couple said, oh yeah, we trust you. We trust you. Now, all of my clients actually said, everybody who responded to my question, they said, yeah, absolutely, we trust you. I said, why do you trust me? Can you tell me more? The husband said, because having a man who understands me as a professional athlete, as a dad, as a husband, specifically as an African-American man, having all of that and seeing how you walk with us and how you come ready. The wife said, one of the things that I really appreciate and one of the reasons I trust you is because you're very professional. She's a physician, trained, and she says, I appreciate that you don't come looking for answers. You come prepared. She says, you give us frameworks to work from and to grow with. You give us real solutions in the coaching process. She says, I trust you because I was a child of divorce. And what you have taught us and helped us see is the cost of divorce. They've gone through some difficult things and they were not sure. Are we going to make it? Can we do this? She says, and you helped us think about the price of divorce and the cost. And you know that the price is not the cost. The price is different from the cost. It's kind of like buying a home. The home might cost you $700,000. Might cost you $700,000. The price for the home is $700,000. You get a loan from your bank and you put down 20% or whatever, and you got a mortgage because the price was $700,000. But the cost is different. The cost is not only the mortgage payment based on the balance of the mortgage, but it is the cost of repairs. It's the cost of lawn upkeep. It's the cost of decorating. It's the cost of keeping things clean. There are costs. And when it comes to divorce, there is a price. The average attorney in America for the average couple begins at $15,000 per person. That's average. That's on the low end. But for people who have wealth, for example, the cost is much higher. The price is much higher. It can begin at $50,000. And this is why, by the way, this is why you need to invest in your marriage, because the price for divorce is extraordinary. People say, well, how much is coaching? It's not as much as divorce. The price is not anywhere near the price of divorce. I was talking to a gentleman. He very professional guy, has worked for the government. He said, man, I've spent $150,000 on my divorce at this point, and I'm still not done. But how about the cost? Let me talk to you about the cost of divorce. The cost of divorce is splitting a relationship that you will never forget you had. Because once you get married, you will always have an attachment to that person. The cost of the divorce is the emotional anguish that comes from all of the turmoil. It's amazing. I've watched couples who decided on divorce, and once they get through the divorce, they're like, I think we could have made it. So part of the cost is the regret that comes from not really trying and for being so proud that they couldn't stop and say, I got some self-examination to do. I got some self-awareness to grow in. So the cost, how about the cost to your children, perhaps, if you have children together? The cost to the children, the cost of dividing assets, the cost is extraordinary. The price of the attorney, that's high. We get that. But the cost for years and years. I was talking to a friend recently. She said, yeah, I was talking to my friend about her divorce because I was thinking about divorce. Leaving my spouse, she said, her husband. She said, then my friend said to me, let me encourage you to rethink that. Because when things were bad between me and my husband, I was hell-bent on divorce. And so we got a divorce. She says, and I regret it to this day. She said, because 2 years later, he was married again. And he just died, and she gets everything. She said, I'm out here struggling, trying to make it on my own. She says, I wish we had worked harder to keep our marriage as opposed to walking away because we were angry or hurt and couldn't see our way forward. Now, let me just say this as I wrap up this video. This video is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I get that. Because some people, they're just going to, they don't see a way forward. They'd rather just be done with it. We have been sold a bill of goods that says that divorce will fix it. I've talked to friends who have divorced, and they would always, when they're thinking about divorce, they said, the kids will be fine. The kids will be fine. The kids will be fine. Can I just tell you, kids are resilient. Yes, kids can recover, but let me tell you, the price they pay emotionally is extraordinary. So, in 4 moves, you can fix your marriage in 26. You can do it. You can have the marriage you want. You're not beyond recovery. Your spouse is not beyond the prospect of recovery. You can have the marriage you want. And I would love to help you in our Intimacy Reset Challenge. I would love to encourage you. Make sure that you subscribe. Here you can get some real help. Make sure that you check out our website at rodharrison.com. I want to make sure that in 26, you have the resources that you need. And I'd like to be your coach alongside you to help you turn your marriage around like so many of my clients have done. They've gone through infidelity. They've gone through hurtful things, and they have turned their marriages around. And they're so glad that they've done the work to get the results. All right. Hey, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure that you like and subscribe if this is helpful. Drop some comments in the comments section. Let me know, how is this helpful to you? Drop a question in there. Let me know what you're thinking, and I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.